Okay, let's find a comfortable seat. Thank you, Margaret, for joining us. Coming in.
Thank you. Yes, happy to.
If you can come to a comfortable cross-legged position, that's great. Slowly begin to let your eyes shut and start to imagine. What's the word I'm looking for? Internally imagine you're doing a full body scan here. So we'll close our eyes, really use the eyelids as like a mirror, as a reflection to look at yourself a little clearer today. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose together. And then open the mouth and sigh it out. As we do this visual scan, let's start to feel the earth beneath our feet, maybe beneath our calves, our knees, whatever is touching the earth. Feel it, notice it, maybe feel the clothing of your clothes, touching and rubbing against your skin. Starting with the legs, make your way up. You can try to unclench, try to disengage your thighs. Try not to have anything tensing in your thighs there. Feel uprooted through the heart, through the chest. So as we rise up, feeling the earth, feeling our clothes, feeling any breeze, any wind touch our skin. You can tilt your pelvis a little forward as you kind of tuck your tailbone just to lengthen the spine, let it get tall and curvy. Allow yourself to really sit up. Let's squeeze the shoulders up by our ears. Squeeze them, and take a big inhale here. Then exhale, drop them back and down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders by the ears, tense up. And then exhale, roll them down. Feel your palms on your thighs. Maybe they feel sweaty. Maybe they feel cool. Maybe you have the back of the hands on the thighs, the palms up, feeling receptive, feeling of offering, feeling of taking in that energy, that heavy, the dark energy, scrubbing it, rubbing it clean with this practice. And then maybe at the end, we can turn our palms down, feel grounded, let the energy seep out through our palms to the earth. And as we keep rising, the shoulders descend, the ear tips lift, relax your jaw, relax your face. Start to bring that awareness into the breath, following each inhale as it enters the body, maybe through the crown of the head, taking in that cosmic energy, and then feeling the exhales wash over the body as they touch every organ and release from the fingertips, the toe tips. That you come into this embodied experience, feeling the breath, almost seeing it as like a neon light, just spreading through the body. As we get grounded here, letting go of the day's work, letting go of the day's chaos, come centered and be present here. You can only be here. You are only ever here. So let's enjoy this moment together because we've never witnessed or been a part of this moment yet. Every moment is a new one. With that being said, let's gather our hands at heart center. Bow your head, lift your heart, spread your fingers wide. Keep breathing deeply. No matter what we do, don't let any movement, it can be a distraction. Come to that pose, come to that movement, but with the breath, with intention. So as each passing moment is a fresh one, let's start this practice off together with the sound of an Om, which is seen as a representation of a moment. So you have the beginning of a moment, the middle, the end, and then the silence that comes after it all. Really cherish this moment when we chant the vibrations or the energies of the sound of Om really take that moment as a gratitude for those who may have practiced, may have made it on their mat already today. And then we'll release it with the silence out into the world for those who have not made it to their mat yet today. So let's inhale together for one Om. Place your hands by your side and let's already climb into this heart bench. So if you can remove whatever you're sitting on, stack your blocks so that they're in a T shape beneath your head, beneath your back, beneath your torso. So if you want to have this one block higher than the other to rest your head on so that your head gets this type of forward tilt, and then have the other block that's closer to your body at a medium height so that it kind of goes along the column of your spine, and then your shoulder blades will wrap around it. So if the block is a little further down, you might find some early discomfort. Make sure that end of the block is coming right where I'd say at the bottom of the point of the shoulder blades. And then you'll feel the shoulder blades wrap around. And of course, if that's not comfortable for you, just let me know. You can always lay a blanket over that block, add some cushion, and still give you that quality of a back bend. And then with your feet, you can have your knees out wide and the soles of the feet to touch for a slight hip opener. You can have the soles of the feet to the mat or out long. Whatever fits your mood today, whatever fits the person you brought to the mat today. Maybe you always have your knees out wide, and today you're like, I'm not feeling that, then don't do it. Or if you do want your knees out wide and you like that feeling and you might want to intense it, you could fold a blanket and have it beneath your feet, just so it elevates your feet a little and it gives your knees more space between your body and the earth, and they can fall a little further. Find what feels good. Settle in here. We begin this practice opening our heart. We begin this practice with a gesture of giving, of sending love. We said through yoga philosophy that we usually receive love through the back of our body. So when we do a lot of opening of the shoulder blades, like in an eagle pose or like a Gomukhasana, you should feel like you're maybe receiving love then. You know, when you do a forward fold, you're cradling the heart and opening the back and receiving that love. And then instead, we send love and give love through the front of our body. So I think it's appropriate to start the practice off giving love. As we give love to the world, we're giving love to ourselves as always. And maybe you could do that through the breath. Even as the heart is beaming up towards the sky, you're also opening the chest and expanding the lungs. So maybe you can expand the breath, deepen the breath. Maybe lengthen your exhales, lengthen your inhales here. Continuing to train that awareness back to this present moment where you are here. If you've ever practiced with Karina, you know the mind is always on the anywhere but here tour. So if you can, keep bringing it back. I have an amazing poem I'd love to start this practice out with. I'm not a big poem girl, but I have these books I might as well take advantage of. And I mean, I'm telling you today, I've been reading some great poems. So I hope you feel this with some emotion as much as I did. I think it's a good one to start with. And it actually made me see a quote that I've seen pass by it so frequently. It's in my sister's bathroom, and I'm telling you, I read it differently today. So I like that poems do that. You read it once, and it has a different effect than when you might read it again a year later, a week later. This poem I'm going to read to doesn't have a name, but it's in a book called Edge of Wonder by Victoria Erickson. It goes, people are like continents. It sometimes takes more than a lifetime to explore the trails, mysteries, and lands in a single human being. And there will be more storms together, darker than you've ever seen, shaking two fragile hearts like raging rain, to scattered sands and wild winds to lonely trees. And there will be days when you simply want to run to another land across a sweeping sea, under an entirely different burning sun. But here's the thing, the continents we love, down to our tired bones, we know the one that calls us back to unpack our luggage. We always know which one is truly home. And again, that might not make too much sense to you, of course, right now, but it's definitely, when I read it, it's relevant to everything going on today. Everything. It makes me think how we are all humans, we are all beings, we are all from one, we are all from the same. We are all one. We're just a piece of that puzzle. We just have to keep coming back to it, because no matter where you go, that sun is going to be burning. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose here. And sigh, open the mouth, let it out. Start to pour weight in the elbows. Bring yourself up, climb yourself up, tuck your chin. Maybe use your hands to guide the knees back up. Keep the feet out in front of you, and then fold over your knees. Maybe you hold on to yourself underneath your thighs. Let your face just kind of fall between your knees. Sway back and forth. Feel that counter stretch from opening the chest. And then you can come back up, and we'll swing our feet under us, and we're gonna come to lie on our belly. So we'll start there today. Move any props, anything out of the way. Come to your belly, and we're gonna climb into Sphinx pose or seal pose. So you can have your legs straight out of the hip, so right just long behind you, and then kind of walk your elbows so that they're beneath your hips. I'm sorry, your elbows beneath your hips, your elbows beneath your shoulders. And then just your palms down, or maybe you have your palms up. And then we'll just relax the shoulders and get started in this back bend. So again, we're opening the heart right now in the beginning. And I mentioned the legs, you can have them coming straight out of the hip, or see about opening your legs wide. Maybe you notice your heart rises a little more. Maybe you notice it doesn't, and you'd rather have your legs narrow. Maybe breathe here for a couple breaths and then widen or narrow. Find what feels good. And maybe you move around, but allow yourself to sink. Allow yourself to settle and surrender. Allow yourself to really feel again, we're currently taking in all this dark energy. Feel it. Try not to move it or push it aside. Try not to ignore it, dismiss it, feel it. We're feeling energy, but we're also feeling the energy motion, that emotion. And then ask questions. Where is it rooted from? Where's it coming from? Why are you feeling that? Keep relaxing your jaw and relaxing your face. Imagine yourself as part of the ocean, as a piece of the sky. We get so caught up in this controlled society that we forget how vast we really are as one human being and how far our depth really goes. Sometimes we lose sight of that. We just have to ask ourselves why. Where did that come from? How did that happen? Starting with the back bend can be torture sometimes. Sticking with it is such a perfect way to practice yoga. Finding that discipline, finding that way around it, and sticking with the breath. That's key to it all, sticking with the breath. Finding that maybe you're irritated, maybe you're annoyed. Ask questions why, feel it, stick with it. This is such a good pose. Again, you should feel open in the chest and the shoulders, and then maybe you feel some compression in that lower back. If it's too much, open your legs out wide. That definitely lessens it a little. But it's good. A lot of times we're bending over, we're hunched over. So of course, doing this for 5 straight minutes is gonna maybe add some agony. Of course, we don't want pain, but you want to feel it. A couple more breaths. If you've been practicing yin yoga for a while, you might know of the meridians. This is a yin yang. This is an Asian type of practice. And with meridians, they're energy channels that flow through your body. And they affect different organs and they affect different emotions, considering which organ, they might hit. And the meridians flow from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes. Some intertwine, they go through the arm and then they come back out. It's very interesting. It's very complex. This pose specifically affects your urinary bladder meridian. I think it's the meridian for the urinary bladder is on the front of the body, I believe. And I don't have too much information on, what that really means, but it's interesting to know, emotions can affect that. So if maybe you have any issues with that part of your body, with that organ, maybe you come to this pose. Take one more deep inhale here. Exhale, sigh it out and slowly roll yourself down. Make a pillow with your hands and allow your forehead to lie on your forearms. Feel what you feel. Notice anything. Notice any sensation or emotion. Let your shoulders release. Let go. And then we'll lift back up. We're gonna stay on our belly for a little and move your body towards the right side of your mat. Hopefully nothing is in your way next to you. Maybe move some blocks or whatever. And then bring your left arm out to the side, straight out of your shoulder. We're gonna come into Starfish Pose. So roll yourself. You're gonna press through the right palm and roll yourself onto your left hip. So you're on top of that left shoulder. You might want to just stay here, maybe having the legs stacked on top of each other, or you can roll all the way onto like your left glute. You might want to bend that right knee. Maybe you can bend both knees. And then once you find that comfortability in the long body, you'll inhale, lift your arm up, and then either just bend at the elbow, letting the arm drift behind you and letting your head rest. Maybe you place a pillow or a block or a blanket under your head for comfort. If you can reach, if you can keep your arms lengthened, maybe you can interlace your fingers behind you. Wherever you are, find your breath. Ask me any questions. Ask me if you're confused at all, please. But you should definitely feel some compression on that left shoulder. Feel some opening of the heart. And continue to come back to the breath. So this is Starfish Pose. It's said that this pose, it's good. It's always good to open the heart, open the chest when you feel any stuckness in your life. You know, whether that's with your career, your job, your love life, or in general. You can just feel it in general. Like, I think we all feel a type of stuckness in this moment. Then this is a good pose to do, to sit with for a little bit. It might be completely discomforting. Again, I don't want it to hurt. Maybe you hate it, but you won't maybe realize though later on in an hour, you feel a little more uplifted. See if you can sink a little more. Notice if you're hovering. See if you can find that release. Maybe notice any pockets of tension. I really love this practice because yin yoga is a practice for long-term effects. You know, you don't get off the mat usually, you know, like, whoa, that was a great workout. But you definitely have a shift of energy, which is nice. You feel that. And that has a lot to do with the meridians. It has a lot to do with energy locks. So like you might have an energy lock in this left shoulder, and then we're creating a dam. And then once you release and come out of that, maybe you feel a flush of energy, a flush of sensation flowing through that area, from that shoulder area. But I love this practice because it's long term. This is a practice that benefits you when you're older, when you want to run around with your grandkids, or you want to move and you just want to get up from the floor. You're sitting on the floor. It really lubricates the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons. and allows them to stay juicier longer. The only way to get into the deep visceral components of our body is to hold these poses for a longer time. It's that yin aspect, that slower aspect. Start to lift that right arm and bring the palm back to the floor, and then roll yourself back over. Pause here. Maybe you roll out the shoulders. Do a little figure 8. Pause, notice. See if you feel anything. And then we'll scoot our bodies to the left side of the mat, if that makes sense to you. Bring your right arm all the way out like a T. Use your left hand to press your body away. Roll onto that right hip. Maybe you bend the left knee to the sky. Maybe you leave the legs out long. Relax your head to the ground. And then lift that left arm up and bend at the elbow, letting the hand just fall behind you. Or maybe you find that reach. Maybe you can flip the right palm towards the sky and interlace the fingers somewhat. Maybe you have an extension cord or a strap, something to connect your hands. Pause here. Notice anything you notice maybe right away. Maybe you reach and clasp the hands for a couple breaths. And if they're not straight out behind you, then don't interlace the fingers. You still can feel the stretch in your shoulder. Creating that awareness, coming back to here, coming back to right now, not thinking of what you might have for dinner later, not planning it just yet. And then finding that deep breath, finding the inhale, reaching to the bottom of the lungs, and then truly emptying out with the exhales, not leaving any still energy, any still breath still at the bottom of the lungs, getting rid of all of that. Sitting with the discomfort, sitting with the unsettledness, sitting with what's foreign to you. Most of life isn't present. Pleasant. Most of life is not pleasant. Most of life isn't good and dandy. So it's about sitting with those moments and how you deal with it. How do you react? Yin yoga is such a great practice for that. Take a deep inhale here through the nose. Exhale, side out. Start to replace that left hand back to the mat and roll yourself back over onto the belly. Pausing, giving yourself a moment. Maybe rolling out the shoulders or just placing your forehead on your forearms. Maybe you feel some sensation. Maybe you don't. Start to press yourself up. We're going to come back up to sit. Whatever that may look like to you. Come to sit on your bottom. And we're going to come to a square pose. So this looks like stacking your right knee on top of your left knee. Most people aren't there. Most people have space in between that top right leg and the bottom foot. So if that happens, spread them out a little. It's fine. Your ankles will be right over your knee. And if you have them spread like this, you'll still feel something. If that still doesn't feel good to you, let me know. I can see two of you, so let me know. We have other options that we can do. But if that feels good, we'll then stack the right over left, and then start to just walk your hands out in front of you, round the spine, tuck the chin, and just fold over your shins. You might feel the stretch immediately on the outer right hip as you just sit there. That's fine. Feel it. Yes.
It's not good for me.
Okay. It's a little probably too much external rotation.
Yeah.
That's fine. If you want, you can bring, is it okay to bend that right leg?
Yeah.
I
think that's good. The left leg straight and the right leg bent. That's better.
Okay, then do that. But if you do that, I want you to feel it in the right outer hip. So I'm trying to think. Is it okay if you do this? If you bend this left knee and then abduct it and go and look like this?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, can you feel that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool. Then you can fold over at any point, however far you go. And let me know if you feel that in the outer right hip. And if you don't, start to walk your torso one way and then another, but you should feel it somewhere like this. And then you'll probably feel your inner left thigh as well, or left hip. I don't think that'll ever hurt anybody. This is definitely an intense pose. Stick with it, be here, be present, feel it. Any emotions, any thoughts that come up, touch it, notice it. Don't engage it. You don't have to entertain it. Just notice it. Maybe you label it. You know, I feel relaxed, I feel frustrated. I'm uncomfortable, but I'm okay, you know? You're not to just add any judgment. Don't add any opinion on it. Let your feet relax. You don't need to flex your feet here. Just a couple more breaths, we'll be here. So again, as I'm sifting through my poetry books, I have this one book, it's called Open Mind by Guyana Mudra. And it's cool because it has the date and a poem for each date of the year. It goes through the entire year. I wonder if it has leap day. I didn't even check that. So I thought it would be appropriate to share June 4th's poem. It's very short. We'll see, but it's very relevant again to what's going on today. It's called Life Force. And this one's by her name's Sue Silvermurray. I ride the water song, sleek as a dolphin. Daughter, its constant pulse belongs as much to you as your own heart's ebb and flow. This sea that carries me is velvet with depth and wild with wave. Come claim your place. It's very short, so simple. But it really, I mean, they explain it after and it's so relevant. It reminds us that we all come from the same source, this vast ocean. It reminds us that we can be as intense as a wave and we can be as calm as the middle of the ocean. come claim your place. I like that because it really, come find your dharma, come find your duty for this life, this journey, as you enter this being you're in. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Start to peel yourself up. Use your arms, use your hands, lift yourself. Release the legs, bring the soles of the feet to the floor, and pause. Just notice. Maybe I need you to close your eyes. Just pause for a moment before we switch sides. You can go ahead and stack the left leg on top of the right. Or in Marcus case, we'll swing that right leg behind us and the left leg forward. And then start to walk yourself forward, folding, feeling, breathing. And you know where you're at, Margaret, right?
Yeah.
Fold that.
That's good.
Are you feeling it in that outer hip? Like, were you feeling it in that right outer hip? Yeah, cool. This idea that we all come from the same source is so interesting to me, because even as a little girl, I'll give you some insight on who I am. I am mixed. I come from a Black father and a white mother, and even if that seems irrelevant to you, it's just so interesting, because coming from my point of view, I've always felt this way. We all come from this vast sky, this deep ocean. We're all part of it. We're all part of this big puzzle. You just have to find your place in it. And that shouldn't mean that you have to wedge yourself in it. It just means that that's not the right place for you. So it's so crazy to see that others look at others so differently when we're all the same being. We're all a human being. I love the quote, "We are not a human being having a spiritual experience. We are a spiritual being having a human experience." I mean, if we all thought like that, racism wouldn't even be a thing. It'd be a nice thought. Continue to sink a little deeper. Let go of that tenseness. Let go of the rigidity. Allow your heart to come lower to the earth. Allow your back to open. Like I mentioned in the beginning of our practice, we were opening our heart and giving the love, and now we are folded forward, holding our heart, cradling our heart, and opening our back and receiving that love. Maybe this is just a different energy pathway to receive that dark energy that's coming from the world. We can practice this idea that we all come from the same puzzle, we all come from the same source, by going to the ocean and visualizing the waves meet the sand and then recede back into the ocean. We're constantly coming back to our main source as we reach out. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, let it out. Start to peel yourself back up. Unwind your legs. Sit with the knees to the sky, soles of the feet to the floor. And just notice anything. And then we're gonna keep our legs bent and let them fall to the right. And then we'll sweep our left arm around and come into this twist. So come into this twist, let the palms ground behind you. You can face this way if that makes more sense. So we're gonna fold our legs to the right, twist to the right, lift the heart. And maybe if you can, deepen the twist, start to walk your hands out in front of you and then come down to your forearm. If that's accessible, we'll only be here for a couple breaths. It feels good to neutralize the spine after a back bend, which we started with. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. And then start to walk your hands back up, lifting your heart, unwind, come back, and then spread your feet as wide as the mat and windshield wiper your knees. And place your soles of your feet back to the floor, about hip width distance apart. And then we'll fold our knees to the left and twist to the left, bringing the right arm all the way around. Finding this uplifted quality at first. I like to say we're lengthening the spine. And then begin to walk your hands out, coming to our forearms. As you know, twists are like a cleansing pose, cleansing routine. Feel it. Feel like you're wringing out your spine right now. All the hunching, all the carrying, all that weight holding. Wring it all out. Again, we are cleansing this energy. We are releasing. Start to walk back onto the palms of your hands. Unwind. Spread your feet out as wide as the mat and windshield wiper your knees. And then we're gonna stay seated up and we're gonna come into something similar to what Margaret was in. We'll stretch our right leg out long and then bend your knee. And if this is okay with you, bend your knee and then keep the footing, the shin in close and swivel the leg out. Of course, if this is not accessible to you, you can just bend the knee and come into like a Janu Shirshasana and have the sole of that left foot pressing against the right thigh. But if we can come to like this half dragonfly pose, we can do a little more. So we'll be here and then just start to walk your hands out, framing that long right leg, relaxing the foot, relaxing the ankle, and then tuck your chin. Maybe your nose can almost touch your knee or your shin. Come to rest on forearms, or yes, thank you, or bring a block wherever is necessary. We all have blocks, which is great. Thank you, blocks, Margaret, checked in. Maybe you bring the blocks beside you, and you can fold this way, bringing the earth closer to you. But we really want to feel our hamstrings here. This is what we're going to get into. We're opening that right hip. Allow yourself to sink, settle, arrive here. Keep deepening that breath. So I brought it up and then I never told you about it. I wanted to tell you about this quote that I pass all the time and I'm like, oh my God, this is so relevant. It's Balai, sorry, can't speak. It's by Khalil Gibran. I haven't done any research on him yet, but I'm curious because now this quote is speaking to me. It says, "In one drop of water are found all the secrets of all the oceans. In one aspect of you are found all aspects of existence." In this quote, the you, the Y is capitalized. So, for me, I'm like, I don't understand. You are found all aspects of existence. And I mean, now it's clear as day what is meant in this quote. You are meaning this vast existence of bodies. This is all of us humans. We are a drop of the ocean. We are all part of the same. Keep leaning yourself forward, and then start to bring your right arm inside of your right leg, and then start to walk your torso towards the middle of your body. So you're just reaching forward, straight out, and your right leg is off to the side. Here you'll feel a different type of stretch. It might not just be your hamstrings anymore. You can keep walking your hands out and then stacking the right hand over the left. And then you're really getting a stretch in that right side body. That feels good. Breathe here, sink here. Feel your inhales coming from the crown of the head, in towards your body, washing over your organs. Maybe you can feel the breath taking up space. Exhaling, releasing it all, releasing it out. Start to walk your hands back towards your body, lifting your torso. Pause here, keeping the left leg bent. Notice, ask questions. And then we're gonna come into a sleeping swan or pigeon pose. So keep that right leg in front of you, and we'll walk ourselves, kind of scoot your way to the top of the mat and begin bending that right leg and extending the left leg behind us. I need to pad up under my left leg. You might need to pad up under your right glute, your right butt cheek, maybe if that, whatever allows you to sink a little more. Look back. Notice if that left leg's coming right out behind you. Level out your sacrum. Look the other way. And then wherever you are, that shin might not be parallel to the top of the mat. Start to walk yourself out, folding forward. I had such a struggle with this pose when I was first introduced to it. Such a love-hate relationship. I think everyone goes through that with pigeon pose. It would be the only pose that would make me feel it. Let's put it that way. I felt like sore every time I practice it. And I would think it was a bad thing. And now I'm finally realizing that's the pose I need to be doing more. It really leaves a tenderness in that right hip. And who knows, maybe it's emotions it's touching. Maybe it's pent up words, thoughts, feelings that are getting touched and poked. Maybe it's just a tender tendon ligament right there. It's getting stretched. It's usually compressed. Sink a little deeper. This pose affects a couple different meridians, a couple different energy pathways. It says it affects the gallbladder, liver, and kidney. And they each have a good amount of emotions that are connected. So it's very interesting if you ever want to, Google or look this up. But this pose is very special if you ever feel irritable, bitter. Maybe you come to this pose when you want to feel more strategic, when you want to feel more decisive. Maybe you do this pose. That is the gallbladder emotions. Liver emotions are depression, anger, disorganized. Maybe you come here when you feel those emotions. Sending your exhales to your right hip, sending your exhales to your low back. Relaxing the back of the neck, relax the shoulders. Make any necessary noises. Cover your lips. Do what feels good for you. Couple more breaths here. Sink, feel it. Stay with it. If you want, we're gonna be here for another minute. So if you want, you can make this a twist. I meant to offer that. I really apologize. If you want to make it a twist in this last minute, you can slide your left arm, thread it under the right arm, and do what we kind of did earlier. And open up that way. We won't be here long. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, sigh. Walk your hands back towards your face. Lift yourself up. Pause here. And then if you want, you can tuck your back toes, lift that back knee. And then if you want to come into like a downward dog split, just to really open up that right hip, you can do that. You can pause. You can just sit there with your legs out in front of you. Whatever feels good. I like to come to a down dog when I do yin sometimes. Flip your dog. Do whatever feels necessary. And then we can meet back into a seat with our legs out in front. Nice, stay as long as you'd like. And once you come down into the seat, we'll start on the left side. So keep that left leg long and then bend the right leg. Swivel with the hip. Abduct the knee, so bring the knee away from the body. Spin your shoulders to frame that long left leg. And then start to walk your hands out, resting your forearms on the earth or on a block or blocks. Maybe you bring a block to your leg and rest your forehead here. Relax your foot, relax your ankle. Take any tense or engagement out of that right thigh. Let that sink. And then tuck your chin around the spine and surrender.
Diane, simply look at what I sent you. It should have the number on to dial in. And yeah, you can use any of those numbers. They should all work.
I'm going to read this poem because I like it. It's not as relevant as others. But, you know, Wake Up Yoga is like a mascot for Mary Oliver. So I think it's appropriate. It's cute. It's called Why I Wake Early. Hello, sun in my face. Hello, you who make the morning and spread it over the fields and into the faces of the tulips and the nodding morning glories and into the windows of even the miserable and the crotchety best preacher that ever was. Dear star that just happens to be where you are in the universe, to keep us from the ever darkness, to ease us with warmth touching, to hold us in the great hands of light. Good morning. Good morning.
Diane, can you hear me?
Watch now how I start the day in kindness.
I believe I sent it with you.
I love that. You read it in the morning.
But at the bottom of
Like, I gotta do work, I gotta get up. It's such a silly, cute poem called Why I Wake Early. If you want, you can stay here or walk that left hand inside of the left leg and then start to walk your arms and your torso to come towards the middle.
Well, it says meeting ID : 897
Here.
97.
Or of course you can keep reaching a little further, reaching that right arm out and then stacking the left hand on top of the right. Really feeling a left body stretch. Let's walk our hands back up. Pause here, close your eyes. Notice, seek. And then we'll start to scoot our way towards the top of the mat, bending the left leg, coming into a sleeping swan, and then extending the right leg out behind us. Find what feels good for you, padding up where's necessary. Look behind you one way, look behind you the other way, and then start to walk your hands out. And finding a pillow of your forearms, anything to really rest your head on and relax the back of your neck. That's so necessary in this pose. Release, sink, open that outer left hip, but relax the limbs, relax the rest of the body. And then feel, maybe you feel the lower back opening up. Maybe you feel a little looser. You don't feel as much tightness in that compressed left hip. Maybe it's yelling at you. And you're like, God, I'm ready to get out of this. Feel it, stick with it. Knowing by practicing a yin practice that you are serving yourself. You are doing your body a favor. You are thanking your body in a physical way. The deep foundations of our being is like, thank you. You hear me. Sometimes they're yelling at us all the time when we're not listening. And this is the moment we can listen. Keep bringing that awareness back to here, back to now. The only moment that will ever be true is now. Don't lose yourself in those quiet moments. When you come back, think, where did I go? What was said? Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, sigh. Start to walk your hands back. Lift yourself up. Pause for a moment. Notice what you feel. Close your eyes. And then you can unravel. Bring your legs back out in front of you. Maybe you sit on something. Maybe sit back on that blanket or block that you sat on in the beginning. Wrap yourself up a little. Lengthen your legs out in front of you. Or it might feel nice to take a little bend, a slight bend in the knees. We're not going to stay here as long as the other pose is. And then we'll just start to fold over. Just fold over here. Let your arms just relax by your sides. Let your feet relax. Take any tension out of your jaw. Maybe move your eyebrows up and down a little, and then relax it. Just fold. Letting the back of the neck release even more. And then let's come up to sit. So if you're not on something, you might want to sit on something. Before we come into our final pose, I figured we could explore some Nadi Shodhana to kind of calm our senses down. So this is a breathing technique. So come to a comfortable seat. You might even want to have a block near you, because we'll have our hand up to our face, and it's nice to maybe have something to rest that hand on, just like this. So come into this position, and then you can flip the left palm up and bring your forefinger and your thumb, tuck your forefinger into your thumb to create a Guyana Mudra, like a wisdom seal. All of the energy we're going to create, it will release at some point, but hopefully this seal will keep it all here for now. So bring your right hand to your face, your right palm facing your face, and then bring your thumb to your right nostril and your ring finger to your left nostril, and then just rest your forefinger and middle finger on your forehead, or tuck them into your palm. Take a deep inhale through both nostrils. Exhale through both nostrils. At the bottom of the exhale, close up the right nostril and just inhale through the left. Count like 1, 2, 3, 4. Then close off the left nostril, open the right, and exhale for 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right nostril for 3, 2, 1. Close off right, open left, exhale through the left nostril for 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the left. Close off left, exhale right, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the right, 3, 2, 1. Close off right, open left, and exhale. Keep moving through this, like channeling the breath through each nostril. Move with your breath. Try to keep the inhales and exhales the same length. Try not to rush. That's why counting helps. Find some steadiness. We're clearing out these energy pathways to balance out the two hemispheres of the brain. This will allow our immune system, our fight or flight mode to kind of slow down. You want to turn off completely, but really coming into this hopefully calming sense of feeling. Go through a couple more rounds. Then the next time you exhale through the left nostril, take your time to get there. Release that block, move away. Let your right hand come back down to thigh, and maybe you make a Guyana Mudra in that hand as well. Close your eyes, feel lifted through the ear tips. And just notice, take a pause, see if there's any changes, any feeling, any flow. Nadi Shodhana is a great practice to set yourself up for Shavasana. So we can come down into our final resting pose now. Layer up how you'd like. Cuddle yourself, cover yourself, cuddle yourself. Maybe you swaddle yourself with a blanket. Really let the limbs come out long. Come into like an X if you can, if you have the space for it. Spread yourself out wide. Feel yourself molded into earth here. Once we all come here, let's take a big inhale together. At the same time, squeeze your hands, bring your hands into a fist, squeeze your face, scrunch your eyebrows, squeeze your nose, curl your toes. Inhale, exhale, let it go. Release everything. Completely surrendering into this moment. Becoming one with the earth, one with this vast energy that we are a part of. Begin to deepen your breath. Start to reach your arms above your head for a good morning, good evening stretch. Bend one knee and the other into your chest. And then roll to your right side, which is known to be the calming side. If you ever didn't know, that's why we always say that. And then build your way back up to sit. You can keep your eyes closed or your gaze soft, do that. And then join me in this sit. Relax your shoulders. Sit up tall. Feel how you feel. And let's gather our hands into heart center. Lifting our heart, bowing our head. And let's close out this practice with one sound of Om, chanting together. Try not to separate yourself, even if you don't use your voice, your energy, your vibrations. Try not to separate and stay engaged. Feel it through the sounds, through the speakers, and stay connected. Let's inhale together. Raise the base of your thumbs to your third eye. Let's lean back and send that energy out. Send the energy out and then invite wisdom, love, and some faith. And we'll exhale, fold forward. Ground your fingertips, feeling in your practice. Namaste.